Thank you all for coming to mourn the death of Mr. Gatsby. Although this is not the turnout I hoped for, Gatsby would have appreciated all of you being here. Tragedy struck the other day, and the world lost a good man. Recently, situations arose that were wholly out of Gatsby's control. His murder, his unfortunate loss of Daisy's love, and most of his other misfortunes were not his fault. And I truly believe that the man was struck with one of the worst cases of bad luck I have ever witnessed. While Gatsby had his flaws, he was a good man, and he had good intentions in nearly everything he did. In his mind, his love for Daisy never wavered through 5 long years of separation. While he may have loved the idea of Daisy more than the woman herself, Gatsby clearly went to great lengths to impress the woman who he thought he loved. A war hero, Gatsby dedicated his post-war life to finding and rekindling his love for Daisy. Convinced that the only way to win her love over was through wealth, Gatsby got rich by any means necessary, and he used his fortune to please others. While his incredible parties were designed solely for the purpose of impressing and meeting Daisy, they still brought great joy to a great deal of people, and he definitely made people happy during his time on Earth. The elaborate parties, incredible mansion, and expensive cars were all deceptive tricks to lure Daisy back, and he firmly believed in love, a trait that I truly admire. As a stranger in a new neighborhood, Gatsby made me feel welcome immediately by sending over an invitation for me to attend one of his ornate parties. I was very skeptical at first of this mysterious man and his lavish parties. I had my doubts about his motives, morals, and money, but I was glad that he sent me the invitation. He was the most gracious host I've ever been around. Gatsby's incredulous habit of calling everyone old sport made me and everyone else feel very comfortable and welcomed around him. Despite his hatred for the love of Tom and Daisy, Gatsby was always nice and a gentleman when in the Buchanan household, and never was disrespectful to the face of Tom. The unfortunate circumstance of Gatsby's love not being returned was solely and truly out of his control. And it is for this reason that I truly grieve the death of Gatsby. His affair with Daisy was done out of pure love and desire to make each other happy. It was not just a fling for Gatsby, and he even stayed outside her window until 4 in the morning to make sure that Tom would not hit her once he found out about the affair. While I, like nearly everyone else he met, questioned Gatsby's morals, I truly believe that he had good intentions with most everything he did. And Gatsby certainly did not deserve the fate that has gathered us here today. It brings me great sorrow to realize that Gatsby did not mean a lot to many people. It seems like in the eyes of many he was just a man who threw great parties. And it seems he had never really had an emotional connection or real friendship with anyone. While I did believe that I was in this boat in the past, the boat of an unrealistic friendship with Gatsby, I do believe that we are true friends. He may have considered me more of a friend than I considered him, but he was a good man, and I did truly enjoy his company. He definitely turned out all right. The thing about Gatsby that separated him from the rest was his mystery. The stories about the man were amazing, and everyone wanted to know the truth about the man who threw the lavish parties and where he made all of his money. He was one of the most talked about people on the East and West Eggs. And so, many people were brought great joy through his parties, and they became legendary. People marveled at his wealth and luxury, but more than reveling, they wondered and fantasized about how he became what he was and where he got his money. Truth be told, I was one of those people. I was skeptical, confused, and pessimistic about Gatsby when I first met him. However, the man grew on me, and despite what some may say about his initial beliefs, Gatsby turned out all right. Gatsby taught me that love brings out the best of people. Love inspires us to be better versions of ourselves, and Gatsby spent his entire life trying to better himself to win Daisy over. He was able to rekindle the fire that he lit with Daisy for a brief moment in time, and I believe this was definitely the happiest period of his time following the war. On the outside, people saw Gatsby as a crazy, shady partier who cared about nothing except having a good time. Once I got to know Gatsby, I quickly discovered that the stigma attached to him was erroneous. He loved Daisy, and the parties were for her and for no other purpose. Not to get drunk, not to party, not to buy friends. All they wanted was Daisy's love, and I believe that is something to be truly admired. Gatsby's love was an inspiration to me and should be an inspiration to all, and I do mourn his death greatly.